Okay, here we have another lesson that I've kind of already told you about. So wasn't confident of everything that's in chapter 4, but so far it's been, I think, pretty easy. I hope it has been for you. And so we're going to work on graphing using the intercepts and working with the x and y intercepts. But through the course of this discussion, I've kind of already pointed all of that out to you. So this should just be a refresher. So we've already seen that the x-intercept happens when the y is 0, and then vice versa for the y-intercept. So remember what those mean. The x-intercept is where a line is going to hit the x line, and the y-intercept is going to be where it hits the y line. And if you think of the logic, if this is where it hits the x line, it has no y. It's a 0 because we didn't go up, and vice versa. Where did you hit the y line? Well, that happened when there was no x because you didn't go over, you just went up. So basically the point is this. The x-intercept is when y is 0. The y-intercept is when x is 0. So one mistake people will make here, so if you were asked to identify these, so I'm going to say the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Now these are points. I get this all the time, even at the college level. Constantly get this one. So you please hear this. An x-intercept is a point. It is not a number. So if you looked at the x-intercept and you said 4, that would be incorrect. It is a point. It is the point 4, 0. So no y, and we hit the x-axis at 4. That's the x-intercept. And the y-intercept, there was no x, but the y is 2. That's where we hit the y line. Now they're points, so this is what I would expect to see. So we'll do another one of these here. And you'd have to label somehow. It doesn't have to look exactly like this, but you'd have to label somehow so I know what it is that we're looking at here. You can't just tell me a bunch of points. So the x-intercept here is when nothing is happening on the y. So I hit the x-axis right there at 2. So 2 and 0 in the y. Now the y-intercept must be 0 for the x because that's how it works, and it appears to be there at -6. So this is what I would want to see if I asked you the intercepts. Okay, now they're telling us something we've already seen here too. So if you had the equation, and now look, it's in standard form, so we talked about this. This is a really good form to find the intercepts. So what we would do is make our chart, and the x-intercept is when y is 0. The y-intercept is when x is 0. So we've already discussed all of this before. Now, let's find them. So they started by putting y equals 0 in there, and just solved, they got x is 4. So this must be 4. And now we're going to go the other way. Put 0 in for x, solve it, you get y is 8. So I'll go back to my table, and that would have been 8. Okay, now they've just asked us to find them. We're going to solve or graph these in just a second. But so let's find them. Okay, so I'm going to do the x-intercept and the y-intercept. I think I reversed these. The x-intercept is when there's no y, and the y-intercept is when there's no x. So let's plug these in like we've been doing for some time here. 3x plus 0, plugging in that 0 for y, equals 12. 3x must be 12. X must be 4. Okay, let's go the other way. We're putting a 0 in for x. We would have this. So that's all going to just drop out, so y must be 12. Okay. Oh, now we're going to be graphing them here soon. But so here, this would be fine if you gave me this table. But so these are points. So the x-intercept is the point 4, 0. Y-intercept is 0, 12. I guess this would be better to answer this like this. All right, now we're going to graph them using the intercepts. We've done this too. Now they're going to show 3 points, but I'm just going to use 2. It's fine because you're right on the axes. I think it's fine to just show those 2 points and connect them, and you don't need the third. So they did the same thing we just did, where they found the x-intercepts when y is 0, the y-intercept is when x is 0. So again, I'm happy with just the 2 here. If you're using the intercepts. If you're just graphing a line, I want 3 points. But if it's the intercepts, I'll let you get away with the 2 intercepts. Okay, so there's nothing here we haven't done before. All right, so let me do x-intercept and y-intercept. The x-intercept happens when y is 0. The y-intercept happens when x is 0. So let's fill in our chart here. I'm going to do the top one first. So x minus 2 times 0 equals 4. It's going to drop out. X is 4. Now we'll do the bottom one, putting in 0 for x. Get negative 2y equals 4. Divide both sides by negative 2. And I get this. Okay, now I'm just going to write them out there as points. We're going to graph them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my x-intercept. 0, negative 2. Now I hope you're comfortable. Remember how we've got all those old videos if you need to, but this is how I'm graphing them. And since I'm just using using the intercepts, I can use the 2 points. All right, this is just telling us what we already know, that it's vice versa. If you want the x-intercept, use y as 0 and vice versa. Okay. Oh, I switched it here, I think. I was going the other way around, but it doesn't matter. The y-intercept happens when x is 0. The x-intercept happens when y is 0. So we'll plug those in and then we'll graph. So I'm 5 times 0 minus 2y equals 10. Get negative 2y is 10. Okay, we're going faster. Hope you feel comfortable with that. Not talking through that all the time anymore. Okay, now let's do the x-intercept. That is when I'm putting in a 0 for y. Get x is 2. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to make them as points here. Again, I would accept the table. That's telling me, but this is nice. Nice complete answer there. Okay, now we're just going to graph. And so what do I have here? When x is 0, I have negative 5. So this point. And there's my x-intercept. That was atrocious again. Sorry that's so bad, but you get the idea. Connect those lines, or those dots. Okay, pause if you want to try one. I keep switching these. I'm sorry, I can't remember which way I do it until I start writing. The x-intercept is when y is 0. Y-intercept is when x is 0. Oh, let's do the first one here. So I'm putting in 0 for y. Get 0 equals 4 times x. Now don't let this trick you. It's still easy. Divide both sides by 4. You get x equals 0. Now it's the other way around, but same thing. So an interesting thing is going to happen here. I think you could probably already guess. Putting 0 in for x, I get y is 0. So they're the same point. So it is going through the origin. Now this one, because they're in the same place, I'm going to need another point in order to graph this. I actually probably need two because I have no information because they both go through the same location. So I'm going to go 1 here. Now I've got this gibberish here, but I'm going to go 1 and 2 here. So remember how we did this? If I put a 1 in for x, I would get 4. If I put a 2 in for x, I would get an 8. Now again, see why I went back to 3 points? Because it happened that the x and y intercept are the same place, which is the origin. So that wasn't enough information to graph anything. So then I said, okay, well, let's just do like we were doing before. And now I've got 3 points. Okay, I hope that all makes sense because I really feel like I covered all those ideas previously. But the x-intercept happens when y is 0. And the y-intercept happens when x is 0.